or the live, depending where you're watching. But today we're gonna watch uh a woman called Paula Harlow. She's very spiritual. She knows a lot. She was telling how when you hold a grudge, there are people holding grudges for so long they create cancer in their colon. Why is that? She said that you couldn't, let go. And the reality is me fasting and doing like now only eating after 5 p.m. I know for sure that, what you eat is very emotional too. So a lot of stuff we eating because it's like emotional attached to us. Once you stop eating, you let go of a lot of things. Things that used to upset you doesn't. How you used to feel, you feel better. The fears that you of something you want to do for a long you never did it. Now you're finally doing. So you start stepping up and liberating yourself, surrendering to yourself instead of like stuffing food to numb down what you really want, your real self, and continue in a life of like despair that you don't want to live. So let's continue. She was talking now about hater and hate in how it's completely different.
Actions in your body. A hatred now grows into this whole thing of anger and bitterness and resentment. And those emotions carry a chemical charge in the body. They will say that the heart generates a charge when it's generating loving thoughts. Apparently, and this is something I've just learned recently, when there's anger or hatred in the heart, it generates a lot of sodium. And so your body now becomes what they call salty. In Jamaica, we say you're salt. And bad things happen. So that's why when people walk around with a lot of anger and resentment and bitterness in them, they now start to attract negative things in their life. A sequence of negative things start to happen. And then in Jamaica, we would say, yeah, man, them salt. This happened and then that happened and then that happened. If you went and did a thorough examination of that person, you would find that they're carrying a lot of bitterness, anger, resentment, unforgiveness in them. You also will see it in someone's face, in how they age. And we'll see some people.
That's a fact, bro. Like there's a lot of people looking like they have this part you can see it. These parts you can see why because they always angry. Person is took and you do art because you're always angry. It sticks on you.
People and we'll see, oh my goodness, they're just aging beautifully. And they carry so much light. There is so much beauty in their eyes,
That's fact, man. When you peaceful, like you look way better.
in their whole persona. It is because those persons have an affinity for forgiving, for releasing, for letting go, for not carrying anger. You can see it in someone's face, you can hear it in their voice, and you can see it in their behavior and in their demeanor. Now, we're all different. So, different things like
I was just thinking these might even get like copyrights and I could not even post this.
memory, retention, it's going to be different from person to person. So, there are persons who have a greater affinity physiologically to remembering things and therefore remembering the wrongs that were done to them and therefore carrying the anger, the bitterness, the resentment within them for years. And then there are those people who don't think about what happened to them 25 years ago. They really don't remember and they, have dismissed it. They don't think about it. They're just living in the present and moving forward. So there are actually personality types that hold on to things.
But it's also choices because I used to be the first personality and now I'm the second, you know what I mean? So easy grudges. You never letting go. It hurts you more than anyone. You are, once you start realizing that you are a hypocrite and you are not just seeing your flaws, you're not seeing how the evil in you. And once you start noticing, seeing stuff that you were just not noticing that you were always being, that's gonna fade away because hypocrisy, is not something someone wanna have. So I do think is lack of self knowledge, only being self centered, only seeing from their perspective, and never taking no accountability. This happens a lot of times, man. Even in a time that you of course depends the situation, but a time that you might be a victim and you might think take from that like you need to get stronger and get stronger because of it, so you have to take the blows and get up and become better. And that's something you have to be aware instead of just being stuck in something that's never gonna go away. Nobody is thinking about that, especially the people who did that. You didn't even probably see them no more. Let it go or take it, that rage, that what I did, take that rage and use it as food to train, to become, to be proud of yourself. And then when that happens, you don't care no more. Nothing you care no more, So that's how you transform.
Things and their personalities that just let them go and move forward. Women tend to hold on to things longer. It's just how we're designed. Men, they'll remember it, it will be a problem, they'll be angry, and then they let it go and move on. So, what it requires for us to grow in consciousness and grow spiritually and evolve as a person is for us to recognize these traits in ourselves and manage them. So I was a hothead when I was younger. Everybody, my dad used to call me warlock because I was always at war. But I had to stop and calm myself down, watch how I reacted, manage my reactions.
O futuro do prop trading chegou.
Bro,
Conheça a SabioTrade, a melhor empresa de prop
knowing my family and how they are and knowing better my seeing other people grudge and other people hate and they not being good people like coming with vengeance and some bullshit is like that made me so aware I never want to be this again because this scene from a third perspective is embarrassing. It's like you just look mad crazy. You look like something you nobody want to be around. That petty shit is something nobody want to be around, man. Exploding, taking things way out of consideration is a problem. We need to look deep in ourselves. Why we have the problems we have? Why we don't have relationships? Why we don't have uh why always having getting conflict? Why these have we need to look. A lot of times is us, if not all the times, is us. It's stuff things on us that we make, we think, we give, and people receive, and they it back like it is a cycle. So you need to understand what it is, and it's not easy, but it's definitely self-thinking and noticing all these things. A lot of times we are not right. A lot of times we are not the right side. Think we are, but a lot of times we ain't. So it's good and important things happen, back down and see from a third perspective, like see everything from a human part, like not judging, not assuming someone is this or that or things like that, and like really see all perspectives. That is so important. See all perspectives and not take the the one that you already had on your mind and accept, oh, that's it. No, that might not be it. You need to look in all perspectives, man. That's how all type of stigmas happen.
Manage my outbursts, manage how I use my words, manage my tone, manage my body language, manage how I put my face, just so that I wouldn't incur the wrath of any more people. Because then, if you trouble me, I go and trouble you back. It's going to be a war. I'm a Jamaican first.
Yeah, bro, there's a bunch of times I stressed out, and then happened conflict. At the time I was ready, and then after I was like, bro, I let it go. I should just like, or not rage, like not inflame like that. Like a lot of times, and I see myself, if you take accountability, you're not like always a good person. A lot of times you are a bad person, and it comes from you thinking like, is your stuff. Like we all, you have to treat everybody well. You have to not be judgy, and we all are. So you need to constantly look at yourself and realize, oh yeah, I did that. Oh, I was like that. Oh, I felt like that. I did some petty, goofy shit like that. So you learn and you don't become the same. My grandparents are the same defects that I see myself as a child, as a teenager, as a young adult. And I'm like, how? How are you 90 something, 80 something, and still the same thing? Shit, and it's because they never took accountability. It's never their fault. It's always the other person the problem. And when you have thinking like that, you don't change. No, it's not ever always the fault of the other person. A lot of times it's both. A lot of times it's yours. And you need to always like be thinking, am I acting correct? How this went? I'm assuming this. What shouldn't I assume? Why do I assume this stuff? What happened for me to assume? It comes from family, it comes from trauma, it comes from the past. What is? So always on rethinking everything, critical thinking.
But with time and with age, one recognizes the importance of managing themselves, managing their emotions, managing their thoughts, managing their reactions. And that helps to evolve you. Then, after a while, when you realize that you've evolved, then you start to recognize that there are many things that happen that you don't need to dwell upon anymore, and you can let them go. So it takes some level of consciousness and awareness, self awareness, to be able to move, to manage yourself to the point where you can evolve your spiritual self, evolve your thoughts, evolve your actions to be more moderate and moderated, and to manage yourself so that you don't infuriate others, offend others, and create situations that constantly escalate.
Yeah, try to help. Try to not be a bargain. If someone has different problems or different insecurities, don't be judgy. Never know, like be helpful, be comprehensive, comprehend others, treat others as you want to be treated. A lot of times we need to remember that and don't forget. So I love that video, man. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next one. Bye.